Add another championship to the trophy case. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dot the Eye podcast. I am your host, Big C. You know what we got to do. Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new, and follow your boy on Twitter and Instagram right now. Just go ahead. Follow me right now. Open up another tab at Big C Got Game and hit that follow button. We're 5 for 5 in Big Ten title games. Our Buckeyes handled the Fighting Irish 49-20. It was a close one after the first, but the Buckeyes blew it open in the second. EJ6 had an up and down day. He finished 19 of 23 for 230 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. The second half, Jones forced a lot of balls that allowed Notre Dame to score twice in the third. J.K. Dobbins went over 200 yards again, 30 carries for 216 and 2 touchdowns. Can we just say this right now? He is the best back in the country. Emory Jones, Brian Seed, and Jalen Gill got a few touches, but Dobbins is the true leader of Tote Nation. EJ6 did a great job spreading the ball around to all his weapons. Gill, Harris, Ruckert, Grimes, they led the way with 3 catches apiece. Jalen Harris finished with 2 touchdowns. Grimes and Jackson each had 1. On defense, Okudah and May led the way with 8 tackles, but the star of the game had to be Chase Young. The redshirt junior had 4 sacks in the fourth quarter. The BIA picked off Book 3 times. Sheffield finished with 2, and Okudah had 1. On special teams, Jalen Gill had 5 kickoff returns for 238 yards and 1 touchdown, including a 98-yard return to the house. That makes 5 Big Ten titles for our Dynasty, and we're looking to add our 4th national championship in a row. Urban Meyer has built a winner here in Columbus, and it shows on the field every week. Here's a look at the final standings, and the Buckeyes finished the season perfect, 13 up and 13 down. Now it's time to gear up and look ahead to the national championship against the Florida State Seminoles. FSU finished 10-2 on the season, beating teams like Tech, Clemson, and Florida. Crazy thing is, they didn't win the ACC this year. Virginia Tech did. The Noles are led by junior quarterback Jason Sapp. He's thrown for 2,561 yards and 22 touchdowns. On the ground, he's chipped in with another 662 yards and 6 scores. In the backfield, he's handing off to Amir Rasul. The senior carried the pill 146 times for just over 1,000 yards and 11 touchdowns. Rasul's backup, Mike Ryan, is equally as dangerous. He's rushed for 723 yards and 9 scores. Out wide, Sapp is throwing to an inexperienced wide receiving core led by Keith Gavin. The 6'3 senior led the team with 59 catches for just over 1,000 yards and 12 scores. Big tight end Nasir Upshur finished second on the team with 37 catches for 472 yards and 2 touchdowns. Sophomore Jeremy Mobley is a nice possession receiver. He finished 32 grabs for 434 yards. On defense, the Noles are fast. Emmett Rice led the team in tackles with 80, but look out for DN Trey Brooks. He is a terror. 68 tackles and 5 sacks. In the secondary, the dangerous Carlos Becker III is a shut-down corner, picking off the ball 4 times. He could match up well with Trayvon Grimes this week. So the goal going into this season was to win the Big Ten championship and have a chance to play for the national championship. After looking at the roster in the preseason, we knew this team was stacked on defense. But how the offense would perform, that was the main question. And boy, did that question get answered quickly. The Buckeyes put up 56 points in the season opener against Oregon State, and they continued to ball out. Out of the 13 games, the Buckeyes only scored under 40 twice, and dropping a Buckeye record 86 points against Indiana. On defense, the Silver Bullets flew around the ball and caused havoc for the opposition. No team scored more than 29 points on them, from the D-line to the linebackers to the secondary. The D played as one unit. Here's a look at the season stats. In his first year starting, Emory Jones showed why he was a highly touted recruit, completing 219 of his 297 passes, throwing for 3,692 yards and 38 touchdowns. But his gunslinging mentality led to 20 interceptions. It was a pleasant surprise by EJ6 this year. When he would fill in for Haskins last year, he had some throws that had me a little concerned. Nobody thought he would put this kind of numbers up in his first year starting. The tradition of great backs at Ohio State continued this year with J.K. Dobbins. The redshirt junior got his chance to lead Tote Nation, and he did not disappoint. 291 carries for 2,167 yards and 30 touchdowns. Dobbins saw a few carries his first few years on campus because of Mike Weber, but this year Dobbins became the star. Nearly 300 carries is a lot, but at the time, the offense needed him to carry the load. His backup, Brian Snead, had a solid year rushing for 484 yards and 7 scores. Toad Nation looks primed for the next few years to continue the tradition of great backs at Ohio State. Zone 6 was a shock this year for me. Trayvon Grimes emerged as a star in the wide receiving core. 44 grabs for close to 1,000 yards and 10 touchdowns. Jalen Harris had a solid season with 42 grabs for 581 yards and 7 touchdowns. Surprise of the year had to be freshman tight end Jeremy Ruckert. He finished third on the team with 37 grabs for 493 yards and 8 touchdowns. Jalen Gill also had a big year in the H-back spot, catching 32 balls for 745 yards and 6 scores. But he also impacted the return game. We'll talk about that more a little bit later. Young Buckeyes also got some burn. Lamar Ray is a speed threat and caught 5 touchdowns this year. Tim Jackson and Jonathan Cooper also caught a TD pass. Zone 6 stepped up in a huge way, especially losing so much talent last year. The future looks bright for this wide receiving core. The Slobs blocked their tails off this year. Jack Wallaby led this young group. There's a ton of talent, but most of them are inexperienced. Jesse May has a bright future at right tackle, but has to cut down on the sacks. Wyatt Davis protected Jones's blind side, but with a few more snaps, he will be another talented left tackle here in Buckeye Nation. The person that has star written all over him is Brett Clemens. The way he pulls and blocks for Dobbins, he could be a top pick in the near future. On defense, our deepest position has to be the D-line. Chase Young and Brian Neal were terrors for the opposing quarterbacks. Both finished the season with 12 sacks. Redshirt freshman Darrell Barber is an up-and-comer. He finished with 8 sacks on the year. In the middle, Haskell Garrett tallied 6. At linebacker, the captain, Baron Brown, led the country in tackles with 98. We said at the beginning of the year that he would not come off the field, and he didn't. Number 5 had a nose for the ball and made some big plays throughout the year. Dallas Gannett Pete Warner played on the outside but was limited to playing time due to the offenses we played against. In the secondary, our 3 stud quarterbacks had an interesting year. Let's start with Kendall Sheffield. He finished with 40 tackles and 4 picks. He was able to take away one side of the field no matter where he lined up. Jeffrey Okudah started his career as a safety, but moved to corner his senior year, and did he pick it up quick. He finished with 51 tackles and a team-high 8 interceptions. At the beginning of the year, he was limited to nickel responsibility, but worked his way up to the number 2 spot. Which brings us to Sean Wade. He had a disappointing senior season. He was beat on a lot of routes and only had 1 interception. Honestly, he could have been demoted to 4th string with the emergence of Dan Eaton. The sophomore showed flashes this year. 5 interceptions, 2 sacks, and 6 tackles for loss. He is next in line to lead the BIA, but right now the leader is Wes May. In his junior year, the safety finished with 74 tackles, 17 TFLs, 1 sack, and 3 interceptions. Since his freshman year, May has played all over the field and is an important piece to this secondary. At the other safety spot, Isaiah Pryor, the senior, filled the hole left by Jordan Fuller, and he had a decent year, 43 tackles but 0 interceptions. The secondary gave up a lot of yards through the air, but when a big play was needed, they stepped up big time. Freshman kicker O.J. Harrison did a solid job in his freshman year, 5 of 6 with a 44-yarder as his long. And punter Drew Chrisman had a light duty this year because of all the touchdowns the Buckeyes scored this year. In the return game, Jalen Gill was a beast. Over 1,900 yards and 4 touchdowns on kickoffs and 706 yards on punt returns and 2 touchdowns. 14 started slow this year, but he picked it up towards the end. He set the offense up with great field position and dazzled us with amazing returns. And here's a look at the All-American team. In all, the Buckeyes had 11 first-teamers led by J.K. Dobbins, Jack Wallaby, and Tyler Gerald on offense. On defense, Bryant Neal, Chase Young, Haskell Garrett, Baron Browning, Jeffrey Okudah, Dan Eaton, and Wes May all made first team, and Jalen Gill was named Returner of the Year. On the second team, we had 4 Buckeyes that were named. And now it's time to take a look at the award winners for this season. The Heisman winner was announced as well, and in a shocker, Woody Barrett from Auburn walks away with the trophy. Running back from Ohio State, J.K. Dobbins, finished second. This is the first time in 4 seasons that the Buckeyes will not be taking home the Heisman Trophy. It's time to look ahead to recruiting in the class of 2021. Looks to be another dynamic group for Urban Meyer. It's led by 3 5-star prospects and a host of 4 and 3-star prospects. The Buckeyes are really excited about their latest signee, Thomas Martinez. The athlete from Pennsylvania can play several positions, including QB, running back, and corner. Look for him to get playing time early and play all over the field. Another prospect to keep an eye on is 4-star linebacker Simon Johnson. The 6'2", 240-pound Ohio native is a thumper. And number 1 wideout Ryan Coleman is going to be a dangerous weapon for Zone 6. It's a rematch from Season 2, and Kurt Herbstreit is picking the Noles to upset the Buckeyes. Does he know what he's talking about? Does he know something we don't know? We will see real soon. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you smash that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're brand new. Join the Dynasty fam as we look to add a 4th trophy to the case. Talk to you guys soon, man. 2 fingers in the air.